Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor, it's Brownie. We're back with the debrief. This is probably the most enthusiastic I'm going to be throughout this stream because, good God, we've got a lot to get through. Good God.
Where'd you start?
We're trying to put a smile on it. There's 172 of you in the building. Before we start the video, Brownie, what do we want these 172 people to do, my friend?
Give me some sort of encouragement as to where our next point win.
Brownie, yeah, but what about the admin, mate? The housekeeping? What do they need to do for the video? What do they need to do?
Hit a like. That's
Boom.
it.
There we
hit
go.
Like. That's the YouTube. That's
hit
the
a like,
YouTube
everybody.
world, isn't it? Hit a like.
If you're enjoying the debrief, make sure you do so. Hit the like, and it shows up on your algorithm, so make sure you do all that good stuff. There's loads of people in the comments already. Brownie, smash the likes. Brownie. Dan James was poor. I'm not missing him. Don't know what's happening there. No KG. Yeah, we don't know where he is at the minute either. I think he's busy, but we don't know either. So yeah, communication. We don't know where he is. We hope he's doing all right. But yeah, Bamford is finished. Good vibes. Evening, lads. Evening all. Flipping heck, mate. I don't know if you've caught my review of the game yesterday, mate, and I don't know if anybody here has caught it as well. There's been a load of content reviewing the same stuff, and it's nice to actually hear that I'm not going absolutely batshit crazy when it comes to the evaluation of Leeds United at the minute and where we are and all that sort of stuff, because everybody seems to be singing from the same hymn sheet, mate. I know you went down to Croydon. What do you make of Croydon? Do you like it?
Didn't like it last time and didn't like it this time either. So it's not on the top of my bucket list to go back to again. It was a nice sunny day. Started really well. Fans were buzzing. They were quiet. We thought, hey, up, we can get at these. And we did. First 20, 25 minutes, I thought we were excellent. But that's it, innit, this season. It's been spells of good games.
Yeah.
Not a full, complete 90 minutes. Take Chelsea out of it, who, I mean, Chelsea gifted us that first goal in that game, didn't it? And then we took control of that. But it's been fits and starts. But, yeah, I need some encouragement tonight, people. I really do, because, I mean, the journey home was pretty silent. There was no radio. There was nothing on it. It was pretty silent and bleak. I was.
Were you there with your brother?
Yeah.
What's just to give you a little bit of backstory. Brownie's brother is I don't know. I think he was quite positive under Bielsa, like you were. But I've known Steve for many a year, and he's gone to pretty much every single Leeds game in existence. So it's quite. I think it was, where's his head at right now when it comes to? I mean, he's Leeds home and away, isn't he?
He's been to every game since 2012, and I think if you offered him the season to stop tomorrow, I think he'd take it. There's just there's no enjoyment at the minute. I don't know how people feel. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know if it's been the stop-start again or what, or we know we're stopping again in a few weeks. There's just nothing to get your teeth into at the minute. There really isn't. And I thought yesterday, oh yeah, here we go. First 20 minutes, we're buzzing. Yep, crowd are up. And then they get in our box once and they equalise. And then I don't know what people think or what you think, but this season as a whole, when we concede, it's like we've been smashed in the face and we're on the ropes. It takes us ages to recover.
Yeah, it does.
In every game, I look at the games, I've noted some down. Southampton, we were cruising. We concede, and then we're just absolutely all over the place. And it was the same yesterday. We concede after being so good, and we're all over the place again. Everton at home, we started really well. Anthony Gordon scores, and it takes us a good half an hour to get back in the game. And Brentford, I mean, dearie me, I don't want to go back over that. But again, we weren't too bad conceding. We ended up conceding 5. It just seems like we're getting schooled. I thought yesterday we were. I thought possibly the opening 25 minutes was the best we've played this season. We didn't give them a minute. We were breaking up play. We were all over them. We conceded 1 goal. And I mean, I don't think we created anything else in the rest of the game. I really don't. I really can't think of anything we created after it going 1-1. if anybody,
do you think? I mean, because I look at that, and I look at the Palace game yesterday, mate, and I don't know about you. The tactical switch at half time, where, I mean, Vieira even admitted it. This is how embarrassing it is in the press conference. He said he won, and I literally called it out, mate. And you'll have called it out, and every other Leeds fan who's got a brain will have called it out. All Palace needed to do was be more expressive and carry the ball a little bit more. You've got Eze on the pitch, Jeffrey Schlupp, you've got Ayew, you've got Zaha, you've got Elise. Be more expressive. Start running at the Leeds midfield and the Leeds back line. That is all they did. They switched to a 4-4-2, and that's all he said at half-time. Now, how basic is that for a half-time team talk and for Leeds to be, let's be brutally honest, mate, you were there in the ground as well. I'm watching from a vantage point, which is probably easier than when I'm watching it on a screen. A lot easier for me. You've got that stadium where like
shocking view, mate. Honestly, I'll get into that later on.
For me, mate, for me, mate, we'll get onto that obviously. But how easy is that to tweak against Leeds United? I mean, where's our pragmatism? Where's Marsh adapting to the game state? Like, why is Vieira able to do that and we come out in that second half, another half of football where Leeds are just turgid?
It was good to hear from Vieira, but it also annoyed me how it was so simple just to...
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Easy.
Because we were dominating that midfield. Adams and Rocker, again, were breaking everything up. Aronson was picking up loose balls.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't have changed, I think we wouldn't have lost the game. But their second goal, I mean, was it the centre-back or the right-back? He just launched the ball forward. He's managed to take a touch, bring it down, play it inside, shoot, go. And this is the annoying thing. And for me, I feel like, I've just been having a conversation on Twitter. I feel like we are in control of the game.
It's a logical thing to do, mate.
No, I feel like I didn't go on it on purpose last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like we're in control of games. Like someone said, we should have beaten Villa and we should have beaten Everton. And at the game and watching, you do feel like you're in control of them games. I personally, in both of them games, you do. And then you look at the Villa game, for example, and people go, "Oh, the red card changed it." In that first half,
no, it didn't.
In that first half, I felt like we were in control of the game.
I disagree with you there.
Right, we had no shots on target, and they had 5. And I've seen a comment. I think it was Michael, just a bit there, saying we dominated the game for the open 25 without really a purpose, and it's true. I look at the Everton game. We were in control of that first period. Didn't have a shot.
What do we do?
We don't do anything with it. And this is the point. We have to really, really try hard to create things and get into good positions.
Mm-hmm.
Palace put in our box once and score.
Yep.
And it's becoming a bit of a trend. We are controlling games. We have all the ball. But what are we doing with it?
No, I think you bang on, and I think I saw a stat today as well. We're going to get into a couple of the comments, Brownie, as well, because they're flying in today, everybody. Make sure you like the video, keep your comments coming, and we'll try to get through everything. Let your passions out, because that's what this is going to be, a bit of a forum tonight. But I completely agree with you, mate. I think we know we're toothless, but it all harks back to... It's stunning, isn't it, Brownie? What were we all saying? What were we all saying in the summer? We're all saying a striker that fits the profile of Patrick Bamford. We were all, and this is outside of the game, and we can moan about it because I'm feeling very moany at the minute. A striker, and then you look at the left back scenario. Junior Firpo, incredibly, is injured again. And you just think to yourself, it's almost harking back to the Kinnear comments where you look between the lines and it is, we have to make this work because we have spent money on these players now, and the recruitment for certain individuals that, people won't call out, but for certain individuals, big money has been spent and it hasn't paid off. So they need to make these things work. But from a business standpoint, you are literally degrading as an asset. You are going down as an asset. We haven't improved at all since last season. The thing is, Brownie, I think the collective of the squad has improved. The quality has improved. I think Tyler Adams, it's not proven me wrong, because I never said Tyler Adams was going to be a bad player. I said I like Mo Kamara, but I'm really happy with him. Rocker, I'm happy with. Christensen's best game yesterday. You look at Aronson. I like him. He's a busy player. Sinistera. These are good acquisitions, but it's not enough. It was never enough. We all knew it wasn't enough going into the season, and it's almost like we're going on this wheel at the minute, mate, where we've actually improved the quality of the squad, but because we've not done enough, the performances and everything on the pitch is lessening. I don't even know how to describe it at the minute.
Listen, I think you bang on with the quality of the squad. No disrespect, but the squad is hugely, massively, as a whole, better than last year.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
No disrespect to him, but last year we were having to bring on McCarron. We're not in that area anymore, right?
Yep.
But has it got better? Has it got better?
Not for me.
Controlling the game, I would say yes. I would say yes, we do control.
But Brownie, where do we control games,
when
mate?
I say control, I mean it feels like we're in more control, as in we seem to have more of the ball. Like, I think I haven't looked. I'll quickly look at the Palace yesterday. It felt, we weren't. It felt like we had more of the ball, but I've just quickly looked then and we didn't. So that completely kills what I've just said. But I don't know. That midfield battle, it just feels like we're more organised in there. That's a more better way to put it. We don't feel as wide open.
Yeah, I get
right?
that. Yeah.
We feel more controlled in that central area.
Yeah.
But I think doing that has taken away so much. I mean, yesterday, the one good spell in the second half was where Adams switched the ball out to Somerville. We got round the back and we won a corner. We'll probably get onto individuals and Jack Harrison. I find myself hammering him a little bit lately, but he's been asked. His game is to get it down, run at play. He's been asked to do that in the middle of the pitch. He's just going to be running into bodies.
Yeah. This is what I wanted to bring up, mate. Loads. I'm going to have to put slow mode on these comments. I just want to get Gabe's take before we look at this. For me, the thing that stands out is mental lapses and the ability to use our brains. I don't think the old guard has it, to be honest. Tactics and plans are fine, but we space out under adversity and tank. I don't disagree, and I actually think Rawdon's just said we can't place any higher than 14th with this back four. I think the problem is, and what Jamie said there, and we're going to get into just what Gabe said. We'll talk on what Gabe's just said, and then we'll touch on what Jamie Kemp's. I wanted to flag this up. Gabe's bang on. I don't know about you, but I think we look tired. I think we're getting to periods in games, and teams are like able in that second half. We saw it against Wolves. I thought Everton grew into the game. Villa naturally did, obviously, because they had a man extra. Brownie, Southampton grew into the game. Brentford seemed to get stronger. I think we are getting, it's almost like because of these pressing units that work for about 20 minutes, we then stop and then it gets tired. There's no plan B at all. And I'm not saying you need a plan B, but it seems at the minute we do, because plan A is not working. And Jamie said here, this is really interesting point. LUFC's 23 Premier League goals under Jesse Marsh, 20 of them were scored in moves featuring a maximum of 2 passes. 21 of them came from moves starting in the opposition half. Our goals are entirely based on short moves that originate from the ball in opposition territory. So essentially what Jamie's saying there is, and if you look here as well, it's reflecting the playing style too. This season, Leeds United are the team with the fewest, and imagine this with Leeds United, Brownie, sequences of 10 plus unbroken passes. So as we've said multiple times, we can't pass the ball and build up attacks. So essentially what the problem is here, Brownie, obviously, is the fact that when we get the ball, and you saw this, I don't know if you sort of saw this in the second half, but for me, mate, we get the ball, and because we don't want possession anymore, Marsh has essentially said that Leeds don't work with possession anymore. It's all about kicking the ball up, they get the ball, and it's all about Leeds then going up and winning the ball back. Yeah, but in the Premier League, if you're giving other teams the ball all the time, they're going to kill you. Like, I don't understand how that is going to be productive going forward, mate.
I think the fitness, it's really weird. one of two few conversations in the car on the way back yesterday. I actually said, we're getting to 65 minutes and we're looking absolutely knackered. And I then heard someone say, oh, well, we had a break. So did Palace. Palace had their game against Brighton called off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excuses getting bandied about. And yes, again, the court, should he have been on the pitch? Red card. I'm sick of talking about the ref. I'm sick of blaming the referee. We can't keep blaming the ref. Yes, it's inconsistent. Yep. Yes, it's annoying. But we need to take... And it's easy for me to say this because I've been the biggest moaner of referees lately. But we need to start taking care of our own problems before we start looking at other people's, because it's interesting what you said about the goals, because I got looking into points and games so far under Marsh, because listen, I'm not saying get rid. I think there is positive signs there. There's positive signs there. I think the annoyance has come from the run of games we've had and not picking up any wins with what's coming between now and January, because it's not going to be pretty between now and January. Let's be clear. There's some tough games coming. And Jesse Marsh has had 20 games now as Leeds manager. It's daft that you talk about getting rid. You can't get rid of someone after 20 games. He's won 6. What I will say on them 20 games is he's only played 4 of the so-called Big 6. So 16 of them other games have been good games.
Very good.
He's played Arsenal.
Can we go through them? Should we go through them? Right. So these are the games. I'm going to share the screen now once again. We're just going to go through this, and we're actually going to, because I think, Brownie, there's a lot of people. I was getting told yesterday on my YouTube video, and I was getting told on Twitter as well, that apparently it's overreactive that we're in a relegation battle. Now, the reason I say relegation battle, please let me clarify. I clarified this on my watch-along, clarified this on my review. I actually clarified it on Twitter, but people don't tend to listen. They just want to create their own narrative. A relegation battle, for me, comprises of Leeds finishing 15th and or below. I think we'll finish below 15th. Or 15th. I don't think that's completely irrational, especially with the form guide we're in now, which is pretty much in the bottom 3. The games are going to get harder. So I just generally believe that, I'm not saying we'll go down, but a battle, as we saw last season, comprises really of the bottom 5, bottom 6. I don't think that's that outlandish to say, but apparently that is blasphemy when it comes to the Leeds United online sphere. I'm not seeing enough at the minute against the mediocre teams, mate, the teams that are going to be in and around that mid-table, which is going to bolster Leeds up. And I think this needs to be highlighted right now, mate.
Well, that's why I said about the games we've played and the winnable games, because I keep seeing people say, oh, but we're where we should be about, so we're 3 points off here. And I've said it myself, but when you actually sit down and look at the games we've played, I mean, Palace are on the same points, but they've played 4 of the top 6. We haven't. We've played Chelsea, and that is it.
Who sacked the manager?
We looked at the start of the season, went through the games, we thought, it's a nice start to the season, that. It really is. Yet we still find ourselves winning 2 of them. And
well, yeah, I mean, let's go. That's exactly right. We've only won 2 of them. So we couldn't have asked for. Did we say this at the start of the season on the debrief? How many times did we say this, Brownie? That this is a perfect start for Leeds. Now, look at these fixtures. Wolves at home, Southampton away, who were in disarray when we played them at this point. Context needs to be applied. Wolves, who'd won about 1 game, and I think it was 12 at this point. Chelsea hadn't had the best start, but still brilliant win.
Just pause on that, because I think it is really important. Look at them first 3, include Barnsley, first 4 games. We're scoring goals. We're creating things. We've scored 2+ in every one of them. Post Barnsley, we've scored 2 once.
You're right, Brownie. Let's be right. Of these games, how many times have we dominated? Chelsea, I'd say we dominated. Southampton, we were lucky at the end because of Ilan Meslier. Wolves, Ilan Meslier again. Brighton, Ilan Meslier again. And then you move forward. Everton had an offside goal, let's be right, which should have stood. Brentford battered us. And then you come down to Villa. And it's not, when you actually apply context, mate, this is what I'm saying, which I don't think a lot of people tend to do. If you apply context, at the minute, this isn't good. It's not good at all.
For me, the whole relegation battle talk, I see both sides of it. Yes, we've only played 8 games. And yes, we're only 3 points above the relegation zone.
Yeah.
I will look at the break. What I will say is, last year, Watford and Norwich were nailed on going down.
100%.
It was 100%. When they came up, they were going down. This year,
that's what you're doing, applying context. Yeah.
This year, I think well, you can see in the league table, it is very tight. Last year, you'd have put your mortgage on Norwich and Watford going down.
100%. Yeah.
I'm not sure I can put my mortgage on anybody going down at the minute.
No.
So as a relegation battle, I think there's going to be anybody in that bottom half at the minute could find themselves in a relegation battle.
But from what we're seeing so far, what you've just spoken about as well, you talked about the patterns of play. We've spoken about what's happening in terms of what are we at the minute? What are we? I mean, we've got experienced players at the minute who aren't cutting the grade. We've got under 21s who seem to be struggling to make that grade as well. We're not scoring as many goals. We're conceding goals. Now, all I'm saying to you, Brownie, is I'm not fetching for we're in a relegation battle. I'm not, I literally, I want to be out of a relegation battle. I can't stand this again. It's not good for my mental health. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's that ridiculous to be saying that we are going to be in a battle with what we're seeing at the minute.
No, I agree. I mean, you look at the games coming up. Come the World Cup, it isn't inconceivable that we go into the break in the bottom three. We're 3 points above the relegation zone. We play Arsenal next. We could be in it after Arsenal.
Yeah.
So it's not inconceivable. I'm really torn.
Should we get through a couple of comments and see what people are saying? All right, let's go through some comments.
I am really torn with it. There's positives. There's loads of positives. Like you mentioned, Christensen was a huge positive yesterday. I thought he dealt with Zaha so well. I don't think Zaha got much change out of him.
Yeah.
That was a positive. But then you think, I didn't see him over the halfway line again.
Yeah, defensively, I think he was very, very good.
On. Yeah, spot on defensively. And again, away from home, if you took you go to Palace, take a point, great point.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way we're playing, we're losing so much going forward.
Yeah, we are.
And it's balancing it out.
It's that option where you're looking at, because we're so narrow, the whole notion, the Jesse Marsh way of playing and all this sort of stuff, it's that the fullbacks provide the width, but we're still not getting that. So defensively, Christensen was very, very good yesterday, and I think it was his best game in a Leeds shirt. And I think that is a positive, because I think he is developing. I think we saw a little bit more of Brendan Aronson. I think Rodrigo, once again, as a Rodrigo game, I hate to talk about it with Jack Harrison again, but I'm calling myself right on that one, because I've always said it's hot and cold Harrison. You get flack for it always, but it is the same case. There is too many games where he's inconsistent where we need him.
He's not playing in his position. I can never slag someone for. He's not an inverted 10 at all. He's a winger, wants to get the ball and run. That is Jack Harrison. That's where we've seen the best of Jack Harrison. And at the minute,
he did that earlier on in the season.
Exactly, and this is what I mean. We seem to be a different Leeds from them first 3 or 4 games. We seem to. I don't know what people think, but it's like watching a different way of playing. The striker thing. Listen, we can talk about needing a striker till we're blue in the face. Everybody thought we needed a striker. As much as Bamford, I don't think was great yesterday. I thought he was very rusty. Things bounced off him. He had a great chance. When Bamford went off, the whole shape just seemed to go to pot. It just didn't seem like it. Just didn't.
Brownie, but this is what I was saying to you, mate. I was like, why can't we just go out and invest in maybe a couple of strikers then? Why can't we invest in some top strikers? Do you see what I mean, mate? Do you see what I mean? It's like Bamford. It's like Bamford. I know he's our Harry Kane in some Leeds fans' eyes. I understand that, but why are we so reliant on this guy? It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, the expenditure, that's another debate. We didn't even spend what we brought in, so we haven't really spent. So that's a whole different topic. But I'll never slag off anybody who's part of that promotion winning team. They got us out of that league, but so did Michael Doyle and Patrick Kisnorbo out of League One. At some point, you need to develop and evolve. And I mean, I'm a massive fan of Aylin, and we had the debate last week about Aylin Christensen. He got beaten in a race by Milivojevic.
Yep.
We're not talking about Zaha or anybody like that. There was
Ashley Young last week.
There was a ball that sprang out, and And I could see why Ayling came on, because it was crying out for someone to get down that right-hand side. And I do believe Ayling is better than Christensen at getting out on that right-hand side, because I've not seen Christensen do it.
But Ayling can't defend.
I think we're getting to that time where the conversation has to be had where some players, after 3 years of being in the Premier League, just, I don't know. I don't want to say it because I love them to pieces. Ayling, Cooper, Click, Bamford. But when do we move on from that? And that Bamford situation, and this is a question for you, Connor, and everybody else. Last week against Villa, he left out Joe Gelhardt. He left him out. He said he had better options available and better options on the bench, and he had Willie Gnonto on the bench. Couldn't even make the squad. Fast forward just 7 days, and Gelhardt's coming on. So 7 days ago, Gelhardt couldn't make the squad. He had better options available. Yet yesterday, he's now ahead of Gnonto. So what is the pecking order? Who is that next striker? Because to me, it doesn't even seem like he knows.
No, I don't think he knows his best 11. Hannah said, you think they'd have learned the lesson after last year, but clearly not. I honestly can't see Bamford doing much this season. Very rusty. I can't disagree, Hannah. He's got to stay fit. And is he going to stay fit? And are they going to... I mean, the joke was them... this is when I went on a rant on the channel not long ago, Brownie, when it was deadline day. And they actually started putting, bids in for 4 or 5 strikers because they started panicking. They thought, we need a striker in now. And they got burnt and karma hit them. Anyway, there's no point in going on about that, but it's just so frustrating. But yeah, I mean, looking at the game, mate, and just to your point as well, you asked a question there. I don't understand that either. And I also think he's very, very at the minute. And people, please get your comments in the section below when it comes to Marsh and this aspect. I think
on that comment about different games and needing different players, I totally agree. But is it 7 or 9 people you can have on a bench? If you can't make a bench of 7 or 9, whatever the rules are now, then it is a bit of a pecking order situation, because we're not in the days of 5 subs anymore, where you can only have 5 and make 3. You can bring on 5 players out of 7 or 9, whatever it is.
But what you were asking there is, you were saying, does he know his best? And you were talking about the experienced heads getting phased out. And I agree. I think you're seeing, unfortunately, right now, you're seeing Forshaw breaking down every week with injuries out for a month, injuries out for 2 months. He's pulling or breaking something every other minute. I'm still seeing Leeds fans say he's reliable when he's playing. I'm just like, where are the standards? Where are the expectations with some fans? Are we this low at the minute when it comes to Leeds United? Do we have any aims or prospects when it comes to why we're relying on something like
just on that?
But Brownie, I need to say as well, when you're looking at Liam Cooper against Aston Villa, when you're getting fans saying that he was brilliant against Aston Villa, where he wasn't, and you're getting him again yesterday, mistakes again. You get an Ayling getting dribbled past by Milivojevic and Ashley Young. It's getting to a point now. And a lot of fans might even throw Bamford in that. I personally wouldn't, but
I'm not at that stage with Bamford.
I'm not at that stage with Bamford, but I'm looking at it right now, Brownie, and I think there needed to be more of a turn in the summer, and there isn't at the minute, and we're now relying on kids and experienced heads who are past it.
That's what I was going to say. You take Bamford out of the team, and your options are, how old's Willie Gnonto? 19.
He's not even a striker, though, mate. He's not that profile.
But these are our options. You've got Somerville, Gelhardt, Willie Gnonto, Sam Greenwood. They're your 4 options coming off the bench.
Have you said Perkins?
And Perkins.
Who's a child.
Which, don't get me wrong, fantastic ability, fantastic potential. But we're 3 years into a Premier League here.
250 million spent, 3 years in, breaking even.
There's your problem.
The boy in the bandana says, we need to be harder to beat. We have 2 defensive midfielder, and yet we can't keep a clean sheet. Our fullbacks don't bomb forward. I'm worried we are easy to beat. I can't disagree with that, really.
When I was referring to that sort of like pecking order as well, 1 week it's Somerville, 1 week it's Gelhardt, 1 week it's Greenwood. How can these players consistently get a run of games or run of sort of do you know what I mean? A bit of form, build up a bit of form and a bit of confidence when they're in and out. It's chopping shit. I don't know. It just seems 1 week one player will do, the next week someone else will do, and yeah, going back full circle to the start. I mean, the next 8 games up until January, 5 of them are really tough, which make Fulham, Bournemouth, and Leicester absolutely huge.
They're massive. Paul's in the building here. Good lad, Paul. Speak to him quite often. He says, "Hi boys, can Jesse survive October?" Paul messaged me today actually, and he was asking about Jesse surviving, and I think he will, Paul. But you've seen more vicious. I mean, when you look at our fixtures now,
I think he will. I think the problem
needs. The thing is, it's not Brown. It's not Bielsa anymore. This isn't Bielsa where he gets given time and time and time and time, and it would be the breakages of all breakages if Bielsa was to leave, which it was, and we all mourned when he left. It was horrific, and we didn't want him to go, but I thought it was right. You didn't think it was right. It is what it is. It happened. Yeah. But what I will say is, and I said this at the start of the season, and people got hot under the collar about it. There is going to be no sentiment attached, no sentiment like there was attached to Marcelo Bielsa to any other manager. So listen, we don't want this to happen to Jesse Marsch, but we cannot get to a point from a business standpoint, from a club standpoint, where Leeds United are looking at 2 points in 21, 2 points in 24, because that is damning.
It is. And like I said earlier on, it as a whole, his managerial of Leeds United has won 6 from 20, and only 4 of them have been of the top 6, so to speak. When I say top 6, I'm alluding to the Champions League, Europa League, consistent teams, not what the top 6 is now. But there've been some nice games in there, and we've seen some horror shows in there as well. We've seen some good games, we've seen some bad games. The problem I have is he's been backed with the players he wants. He's gone and got the players he wants for his system. Your Adams, your Rocker, your Christian, they're his players. So if you were to get rid, what do you do then? What do you do then? Because you've got players that, and we spoke about this when we were doing it. We were getting rid of the wingers. We were getting rid of wingers left, right, and centre because we had so many. We got rid of Costa, got rid of Dan James has gone, Rafinha's gone. It was a joke how many wingers we've had, but we've kind of one by one whittled them down to central players. So if you were to change the manager, it's a complete change again. So I'm not asking for a change of manager, and I wouldn't.
No, I'm not. But when you're looking at the cold hard facts, Brownie, that's what I'm doing. He's got to get results.
Nothing was ever going to be easy replacing. No, it wasn't going to be easy replacing Bielsa. Everything was going to be boring replacing with Bielsa. And yes, boring football. It's a results business. You win games. You do what you can to get points.
Yeah.
But
Can I ask you a question stylistically though, right? And I want to get on everyone in the comments. Please respond to this. A California Yankee in King Arthur Sport, great name. We like the class to maintain possession going forward, so we attack at frenetic pace and typically turn the ball over. 100% signs of an immature team, and I would agree with it. Now, the question I want to ask Brownie, and I want to ask everybody in the comment section below here, is, and I said this at the start: can you consistently, when it's not going through the middle, and maybe you were a little bit tired, can you consistently in the Premier League not play the ball on the floor, play out from the back, play possession-based football? Jesse Marsch was asked last week if that, he would rather play pretty football or to win. And I understand he stopped and he thought about it. And then he said something like, "I'll have to get back to you on that one." And I understand that you'd want to win above, just playing pretty football. But Brownie, my question to everybody in the chat is, can you really A, dominate games in the Premier League, but B, consistently win Premier League games if you don't have the ball? I mean, we are relying on turnovers every single game, and we don't do it enough. We don't turn over the ball enough and score goals. So what are we relying on?
The only likeness I can see to that is Tottenham. They I think there's only 1 or 2 games this season where they've had more of the ball. The difference is when they win the ball back, they've got Son and Kane to do stuff with it. So, yes, is the answer to that. You can, but you've got to have the players to do it. And we just don't have that composure in the final third to do that. We saw that yesterday. Bamford slots it away. It's 2-0 and it's a completely different game. But I keep hearing this if. I've said it so many times. If he'd have done this, if he'd have done that, we hadn't.
No, and I will say as well, PH Lee says not many teams go on winning runs constantly. I agree with that. But PH Leeds, when we're looking at where the chairman has said that we're going to finish, it's going to be impossible for us to be in a relegation battle. With the amount of money that we've spent, we're in our 3rd year in the Premier League. I would expect Leeds United in the 3rd season, sacking Marcelo Bielsa for the greater good, I would expect in the 3rd season Leeds to maybe be able to put together 2 or 3 wins on the bounce through phases of the season. I would expect that. And I know it's not easy. I understand that in the Premier League, every win is massive in the Premier League. And that's why yesterday would have been huge. But you can't just go on, and the expectations can't be on their arse like they are at the minute with some fans being happy with the fact that we played well in the first half, because that ain't going to keep you in the Premier League.
But what was it? The first half for me, it was the first 25 minutes, because when they
the
scored, we didn't get we were like a heavyweight knocked out. It took the stuffing out of us, because I think because of how well we had played and we're still 1-1. I think it took the wind out of everyone, the fans and the players' sails. But I think that's the main thing. This is our 3rd year now. We're not just back in the Premier League. We've been in it. This is the 3rd season. And after the last run of, I think even if you ask Jesse Marsh this, when he saw the run of 5 fixtures, he would have expected wins in some of them games. So if Jesse Marsh is expecting, fans can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not travelling 400 miles to Palace to expect to get beat.
Can I also just say, everyone keeps going on about, it's really unfair that we've not played Nottingham Forest. That Man United game was taken out of it as well. So that would have been an absolute confidence hammer of Brownie, because the Forest game would have been great to get back on course. Of course it would have been. But the Man United game, we all knew what was coming that game, unfortunately, because it is what it is. They're on upturn at the minute, and I think they'd have hurt us big time. So it equals itself out.
I do hear the argument. I do hear the argument that the Forest game taken. I do believe that we would have beaten Forest, and then you sat on 12 points and you're in the top half of the table, and that's the only thing I'm kind of clinging on to at the minute is how tight this league really is. It is tight, but with that, it's also dangerous because of how tight it is. It can go both ways. You can 1 win take you up, but like I've said, after Arsenal, we could be in the bottom 3. That's how tight the league is. So it is a good point to make that the Forest game taken out wasn't ideal, and I agree. But that doesn't take away the fact that out of them 5 games, I do believe that we should be expecting to at least win 1.
Well, let's go through them, right? Let's have a look at them. I was looking, and by the way, for everybody, and this is where it does get slightly frustrating when everybody comes on and calls you negative, Brownie. In these last 5 games, and you'll be able to attest to this, my man, I've tried to say that Leeds. I've not said Leeds are going to lose once. So I'm trying my hardest to get over here and be on that other slant. But unfortunately, it's just not working at the minute. And
it's fine margins. It is really fine margins. Brentford aside, we've not been battered. But all the games could have gone either way.
I don't know about Brighton, but yeah.
Possibly so. But we never get anything at Brighton. I've been there about 5 times, and I don't think we've seen us win. We had the chat about it the last time we won at Brighton. I think Fabian Delph scored. That's how long ago that was. But
if you're looking at the Wolves win, Brownie, Southampton a point, okay, fine.
They could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way. That
this is 100%. What I'm saying, and that's how tight this league is. And and it's good that we're competing in these games. It really is, and it really is fine margins. I do believe that. But it's too often now that the fine margins aren't going our way.
I think minimum expectation, you've got to look at a win against Everton at home. And that's what you've got to look at. I think after we beat Brentford down there, I know it's difficult, but I think a point, and then I think you beat Aston Villa at home. I think that's what Jesse Marsh should have been targeting, 7 points. And then Palace, if we lost yesterday at Palace, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You've then got what, 3, 6, 9. You've then got 7 points in 12, and it's not bad at all. It's like you're looking at it and you're thinking, all right, fair enough.
If you think back a month, and the people who watch the show will remember, we put the fixtures together, and I said, how many points would you want? And I said, if you finish on 20 points come the break, then I'd have been happy. And everybody was saying, no, we're better than that. We can get more. We're still on 9.
Yeah.
So from the next 6, 7, we need 11 points to even reach 20 now. So the last 5 games have been a hammer blow to us as fans, the management team. It's been a massive hammer blow because I fully do think that we did expect to be on a few more points than we are now.
Yeah, I feel like we've just let out a lot there, haven't we? Guys, there is no structure to this. I think a lot of it's just frustration. Dean said we are in more control of games. Teams aren't waltzing through us, creating chances at will, but we aren't in control of the ball. Palace created next to nothing in the second half. Rasmus tackle and the goal.
Yeah, it was a great tackle by Rasmus, and it was great to see him celebrate. I don't know if it showed it on the Sky, but you could see him really celebrate. But I don't even think Palace were great yesterday. That's the annoyance. I didn't see Zaha flying at people. I didn't see Eze and Elise. I didn't think Palace were that good. Yet they still beat us.
Exactly. Ultimately, it means nothing because we lost the game. It doesn't mean anything.
And I agree with Dean. I do think we feel more compact and stronger in the midfield area. People aren't running through us. But I think we've lost a lot going forward to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, what have we scored? We didn't score against Villa. We didn't score against Brighton. We scored 1 against Everton and 1 against Palace. Are
you enjoying watching it at the minute?
No, I'm not.
I'm talking about the football. I'm saying the football, not Leeds losing.
Coming out of the ground, and it wasn't just myself. There was a lot of people saying it. Like one bloke said, "I've got up at 4:30 today to get the train to come out here. What's the point?" It's not enjoyable, and this is where it's a slightly. I'm not saying one fan's better than the other at all. Every fan, whether you live in England, America, Madagascar, or you're all the same. But when you're traveling 400 miles, you want to be, and it's got to be enjoyable. And at the minute, it feels a little bit like a chore. That's the best word to say it. It feels a little bit like a chore. And that's not just traveling to away games. That's just as a whole. I don't know if that's because of the way of the world at the minute. Life's just a chore at the minute with everything, the price of living and everything. Football seems that way as well for me. And I don't know if other people feel like that, but it's not edge of your seat stuff, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. I don't know if you managed to catch some of what Jesse Marsh said yesterday, but he said he thinks there's been an improvement. He was happy with what he saw in the first half. Said it was fine margins. Yeah, I don't know if there's been improvement.
This is why it comes. This is why I'm not angry. I'm just really frustrated because that first 25 minutes against Palace yesterday was excellent. If we can be like that, game in, game out, I'm happy. But it's few and far between. It's little spells here, little spells there. We're not really, and we've said this in the last year, we're not putting that together over 90 minutes, which is the frustrating part because it is there. The foundation and the potential of it is there. But we just seem so naive. Like Cooper, just clear the ball. We're 1-0 up.
Mate.
We're 1-0 up. Oh. We've played nearly half an hour. We could have been 2-0 up with Bamford. Just don't do anything stupid. Just clear the ball. And
I'd agree with Ray. I'd agree with Ray as well. I don't know if you noticed this yesterday. Rodrigo takes too many touches and too slow. There's so many points where Leeds were on just a counter attack and he'd take 9 touches and the attack was slowed down. But I don't just focus on him, Brownie. But like when it comes to Liam Cooper, you know, I thought to myself initially, if he comes back in, all right, you know, everyone's giving him these attributes of him being a vocal captain, you know, Virgil van Dijk-esque. But I was like, right, okay, stick him back in there. As long as we don't see Firpo in there, put Strauch at left back. But it's got to a point now where the 2 games that he's been involved in haven't been good enough and have shown deficiencies. And he was at fault. There's an argument for 2 of the goals yesterday. And everybody said, I was on the watch long yesterday and someone said to me, Brownie, they went, he's made 1 mistake. I went, yeah, he's made 1 mistake and it's led to a goal. And then for the Eze chance, I don't know what he's doing. Just stand him up. He does a spiral, lands on his face. And too many individual errors, mate. Too many for me.
Just on that comment about the Rodrigo taking too many touches, there was one where Bamford was breaking away. And it was an horrendous foul. The guy pulled him back and got a card. Just play it across. Harrison and that is an egg. And it does feel like it's not just I'm not just sticking for Rodrigo here, but it just feel like they're all taking too many touches in attacking areas because there's not really that many options to give it to. Because when you think about it, you got Strike scored yesterday, and he got forward a little bit more, but you've got Christensen stood that far back, he may as well have been in Millwall. You've got a back four, then you've got Rocker and Adams who are brilliant, but they don't get forward. So you really are relying on Aronson, Harrison, Bamford, Rodrigo to do something in that top end of the pitch.
Oh, dearie me. God. It's like therapy, this, isn't it? Bloody hell.
This is the frustrating, and I'm sure everybody in the comments feel the same. It's not like we're getting battered and outplayed and outfought and out anything. We're in every single game. Every one we've been in. Every one. And that's why it's such fine margins. But on the flip side of that, that's why it's so dangerous where we are, because anybody can beat anybody at the minute. We beat Chelsea. You have Brighton going to Anfield and drawing 3-3. I think the league is far more competitive this season than it was last year. Like we said, last year, Watford and Norwich may as well waved a white flag. They were going down before they'd even kicked a ball. This year, it could be free from anyone. And we are in that bracket, but then again, we could finish 9th. It wouldn't surprise me finishing anywhere. But yeah, like that last comment comes in, the fact we aren't getting battered and still losing is a concern.
Yeah, I just think that the opposition that we've played, that's a concern. You know,
I was so optimistic in them first 3 or 4 games about this season.
Yeah,
like you said, you laughed at me when I was saying, "Oh, Fiorentina away next year on a Thursday night." It was so optimistic because we were flying at it. It just seems like we're playing a different way. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I can't put my finger on why. We've gone from creating and scoring loads of goals. It was energetic. It was enthusiastic. Like the Red Arrows at times.
And also, Brownie, you forgot this, mate. The teams that we've played makes a massive impact, doesn't it? Because we played one of them out that top, 6, 7?
Yeah.
So
this conversation come January when we have got in that spell Spurs, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and I'll throw Newcastle away into that because that's not going to be easy. Newcastle away on New Year's Eve. God. Dear me, that's not going to be raucous, is it? So that's the frustrating part for me. Some of these games could have been very winnable, and then that next spell of games isn't as nervy, so to speak, because I think the Fulham and Bournemouth games at home, especially, and I'm not saying the gimmies because Bournemouth were unbeaten in 5, by the way. People saying we should beat Bournemouth. They were unbeaten in 5.
Yep.
They were above us in the league.
As a Fulham.
They're 2 games that we should be beating, but on what grounds?
But this is the thing, like, this is what we said about Villa, this is what we said about Everton. Everton, a poor side coming to Ellen Road at the time. You know, everyone's going to look at it now and say, oh, well, they've not lost that heavily, but they're a poor side. They look defensive. They came for the point. Leeds, like you said, Brown, didn't curate that many chances apart from a Joe Gelhardt one at the end. And then you got Villa at home. You got Villa at home, a massive opportunity to pick up 3 points after the break, and Leeds were turgid in the first 45. These are games that I was saying on my watch along, mate. These are the games at the start of the year where you look at and you think 3 points, 3 points. This is what we're doing at the start of the season. You look at Bournemouth and Fulham, 3 points, 3 points. This is what's worrying me at the minute, because I did look at Everton and I did say we'd get 3 points. I did look at Villa and I did say we'd get 3 points, but it's got to a stage now, mate, where we're not picking up points against teams that we should be picking up points against, which is a worry when you're going into a much harder run of fixtures.
Yeah. The last 5 have made the next 5 or 6 harder than they needed to be. You can not accept, but you can understand getting beat by Arsenal, going to Anfield and getting beat by Man City. I mean, dearie me, that they can beat anybody, can't they? Let's be right. They can put 4 or 5 past anybody. So you can understand them games. But if you take care of your own business with the teams around you, them games are irrelevant. As much as we pay money to go and watch them.
Of course they are.
That's why we're in the Premier League. Them games are irrelevant, really. If you pick up points, all well and good. but they're not irrelevant when you're not beating the teams around you. They become important. So I think we've just made life hard for ourselves. That's the best way I can put it. The last 5 games has made life so more difficult than it needed to be.
Got any? We need to go on. We need to touch on Leicester, don't we? Is it Leicester next? I don't even know.
No, it's Arsenal, mate.
Oh, it's Arsenal. It is Arsenal.
Which is what I mean.
It is Arsenal next.
We laugh, but this is the frustration because yesterday there were points there to be had. Villa at home, there were 3 points to be had. Everton at home, 3 points to be had. And then you think Arsenal at home, it's like, oh, well, this is what the Premier League's about. Good day out. Good atmosphere. Back like the good old days. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank heading one in. This is what we're back in the Premier League for. But now it's like 2 from 15 can quickly become 2 from 18.
It's too frantic though, Brownie. In those periods, even when we were under George Graham, David O'Leary, there's an element of control. And I'm talking about when we're defensively extremely good, obviously under George Graham, still defensively good under David O'Leary, and we're brilliant going forward under O'Leary. We had a control in the midfield, we had a control at the back. It's too frantic, it's too chaotic to be able to ultimately be successful in the Premier League. And I said this, mate, when it comes to Marsh, long term, he's not going to be the guy to bridge the gap into like the top 8, which is what the chairman and the 49ers supposedly want, because the style of football he plays, and Bielsa wouldn't have done it because of the style of football that they play. So you need to have control in Premier League games to be able to dominate and to be able to get up the standings. And when people say it's difficult in the Premier League to win 3 games on the bounce, well, you bring in quality and you have a more control aspect when it comes to football games, possession-wise. So that's why Marsh and Bielsa, you know, collectively wouldn't be able to keep Leeds into that top 8 consistently. It just wouldn't happen.
Well, this is, again, it comes back to the board, and we all have our opinions on them. They've done some great things. They've done some very questionable things. The main thing that stood out for me when Bielsa went was Marsh was meant to be a smooth transition, very similar. That's what they said.
I do think it's similar, though. I do think it is, in a way. In a way, I think it is. I
don't think it could be any further away from it, to be honest.
But it's still chaotic and frantic, isn't it? There's no real onus on defending. It's about just trying to attack and try and win the ball in their half. That's what it is.
I don't see much attacking.
No, I know. But that's it, isn't it, Brownie?
There was zero width.
It didn't feel like there was control. Width. Yeah, towards the end.
Absolutely zero width. That's one thing that's beginning to bug me. If there was anything, a little bit, that it's just crying out for someone to hug the touchline and get at someone.
Brownie for president of the Prem Referee Fan Club.
Yeah.
Not mentioned him tonight, have you?
No, this is what I mean. I could have done, because again, it could be a different game if their player gets sent off. And there's been a lot of questionable decisions again in the Premier League this weekend. But yeah, I don't think it's just us. I think the level of refereeing is so poor. I mean, penalty decisions this weekend. I mean, you got an handball against someone who wasn't even looking at the ball. And I mean, I can't stand them, as none of us can. But that handball against Rashford, dearie me. The one last night where it's just, I mean, what?
You're doing it again.
I mean, I've spoke about referees as much as I can. And I think we've got to stop blaming them, because
got to look at ourselves, haven't we?
When you're playing Everton at home and not having a shot on target in the first half, you can't keep banging on about referees. You've got to start creating things yourself.
Yeah.
Should we do some Arsenal predictions to cheer ourselves up?
Yeah, let's do some Arsenal predictions. Everybody in the comment section below, as we do every single week. Yeah, get your comments in the section below. We've got Brownie, we've got Connor. Okay, Arsenal. But have we got another game since we won't do one next, will we? No, I don't think we will. Connor.
We've got Arsenal on Sunday and then Leicester on the Thursday.
Okay. Steve's gone 2 on Leeds. Fair play. 0-0, 5-0.
It's only 8 o'clock. It's a bit early to be on the beers.
6-1 Arsenal. Jesus. 1-1. Gabe said 3-0.
This is so annoying though with Leeds, though, isn't it? So
don't do this whole Leeds thing where it's like it's typical Leeds to go and beat them 8-0.
Not 8-0, but come Sunday again, we'll all be singing and thinking, oh, we can get something off these, but they look good, don't they, at the minute?
They look very good. Do you want me to go first?
Have Arsenal lost yet? I don't think they have they?
No, not lost.
Yes, they have. They got beat at Old Trafford 3-1.
No, it's 2-1, wasn't it? Yeah.
But other than that, they're not even drawing games. They're winning everything. Are they in the Europa League midweek? Yeah,
Mate,
they are.
don't forget though.
Where's
Leeds are 7 points off 5th and 15 points off the top of the league. So, you know, it doesn't matter if we're near the relegation zone, mate. We're only 15 points off, mate. Stranger things have happened, Brownie. Leeds to win the league, title challenge, Europe. Oh,
I mean,
God.
this is. I did think it was a possibility after that Chelsea game. I did. I was looking at nice trips to Venice and Fiorentina and places like that. But the way it's going, I'm checking out what hotels are like in Coventry.
Go on then.
Tight again. 1-1
tight again. Is that what you said?
1-1 or 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal, I think.
Go on then. Who's scoring for Leeds?
Hasselbank.
Hasselbank
1-0 scored against Arsenal. Viduka, cool. God. Who's scoring
Ian
for
Hart.
Leeds?
Is he still about?
Aronson.
Yeah. Aronson. Dean said, I'm behind with the video, so won't be on topic.
Look at D. That's your half-time score. What's your full-time score? That tickled me, that.
Who said that?
D. Turley. It says, so that's your half-time, Brownie. What's your full-time score?
I'm fine with the video, so won't be on topic. What Brownie said about being in control is right. Forget the chance on the counter teams get. We are on the front foot. Issue is that Dean's going on. Dean's got a monologue here. Don't know where his second comment is, but sounds good, Dean. So you've gone 2-1. All right, I'm going to go Leeds 1, Arsenal 4. I think it's going to be the exact same as last season. It's going to be 4-1. I think they're just going to absolutely.
I seem to remember, and I'm sure my age here. I'm sure I remember us getting beat 4-1, and Henry. He celebrated in every corner of the ground.
Yeah,
he celebrated in every corner flag. He had a celebration, and that's how bad that
did.
was.
Arsenal, we have to check that out. Was it 5-1 or 4? Was it? I didn't know if was it 5-0. I'm gonna have to check that out now.
I just remember laughing that Henry had celebrated in every corner of the ground.
They beat us 5-0 at Highbury with that team. We used to get absolutely humbled by Arsenal, didn't we?
And that was with the likes of
yeah, it's 4-1. It was 4-1. You're right. It was. We actually scored that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 4-1. But I can't see it being any different. I mean, they're just going to have control. I think they're just going to bully us a little bit, and they've got too much quality. I mean, Martinelli, jumper against us last season. I don't know what he's going to be like this year, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Need Ayling to 2-foot him again. That'll go down well.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah, they always work, don't they? Dean's finished his comment. I don't know what you said last time, mate. Create little from it leaving us susceptible. Oh, Dean, we're in too much of a happy mode now, just laughing. Leaving us susceptible for to create chances with these long balls. If they beat the press or we make daft mistakes to allow them in, the press is positive. How to stop it? Yeah, fair enough. Sorry, Dean. I've got to a point where I'm just fried. Okay, so we'll leave it there, mate. There's still 600 of you in the building. We got to 800 tonight. So thank you so much for your support. Record numbers this season. Make sure you slap a like on the video before you leave. It just shows up in the algorithm a little bit more. We will be back next week. Make sure you tune in for the debrief. We'll have all your stuff on One Leeds as well this week, and we might shove an additional debrief in there at some point as well. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining, and yeah, we will see you in a bit. Cheers.